you can't you can't have it both ways. Either your heart is hard or it's soft. It's not something you can turn on and off. Like, it's not a machine. It's not mechanical. So if someone is soft-hearted, they're going to be soft-hearted all the time. In their dealings, they're going to be very easy and very merciful and very truthful and straightforward. They're not going to be, they're not going to give people a hard time for no reason at all, just because of bad attitude. If they do give someone a hard time, it's because there's a long history of dealings between them, and they're trying to mercifully change some of the person's attitudes or activities. So just like, when a spiritual master chastises a disciple, he's not doing it out of hardness of heart. He's doing it because he cares. Just like when a mother or father chastises a child, they don't want the child to develop bad qualities or bad attitudes. So they chastise the child, and of course, the stock line is, "This hurts me more than it hurts you." But really, it's true. We don't like to yell at people, but if they're, on the verge of making some horrible mistake, then it's really important that we correct them. So sometimes we have to do that, but we don't like to. Okay, so now we have 4 kinds of anarthas. 4 kinds are Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which means illusion regarding one's eternal identity. Asat-trishna, which means thirst for material things. Aparada, which means offenses. And hridaya daurbalya, which means weakness of heart or hardness of heart. So now each one of these is divided into further subdivisions. Svarupa Brahma is of 4 kinds. Svatattva Brahma, which is also called Jiva Swarup Brahma, which means illusion about one's own spiritual identity. Now, what does that mean? Well, when people think that I am this body, or I am a member of this family, or I am a citizen of this country, or I am male, or I'm female, or I am, this kind of person, that kind. I'm strong, I'm weak, I'm poor, I'm rich, I'm young, I'm old, I'm this, I'm that. This is illusion about one's real identity. We're not situated in our real spiritual identity. Instead, we are accepting some temporary qualities, some temporary identities, some material idea of who we are. So this is illusion. Why is it illusion? Because it's temporary. Now my body is getting old, but before it was young. Now my hair is white, before it used to be brown. Well, what happened? It's temporary. So if I think, oh, I'm an old man. No, that wasn't true 20, 30 years ago. And 20 or 30 years from now, it's not going to be true either. So this is just temporary. If I identify with being an old man, then I start to think, oh, my body has to be all creaky, and then I have to be all crotchety and mean to everybody. Dang it. No, I'm not going to get like that. I'm a spirit soul. See, so as soon as I start thinking or identifying with some material identities, then I'm going to pick up material qualities. See, and material qualities are always sources of suffering, both for oneself and others. Therefore, this is an anartha. See, why should I think that I'm this material body? I'm not this material body. And instead of thinking of myself as a spirit soul, if I think I'm this material body, then I'm going to start identifying with the qualities of this body. And that's going to lead to suffering. So that's an anartha. That will steal away my wealth. It will take away my opulence of spiritual qualities and instead give me the poverty of material qualities. Anartha. And I don't want that. So I reject that misidentification. The second one is Paratattva Brahma. Illusion about the spiritual identity of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Well, we know the Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna. And Krishna has so many expansions. And who is or is not an expansion of Krishna is not determined by our speculation. It's given in the scriptures. You see? So we know, for example, that Vyasadeva is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. We know that Balaram is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Lord Chaitanya, Dattatreya, and Rishabdev, and so many others. They are incarnations of the Lord because they're mentioned in the scriptures. If, let's say, I was going to a foreign country, or no, even better, if I was going to open a temple in a foreign country, and but I couldn't go, I wanted my disciples to go, then I would give them some paper saying, this person has the ability to act on my behalf. It's called a power of attorney. For example, if I go to India, and whoever stays here has to sell our truck, our wonderful truck, I can give them a power of attorney, a piece of paper that gives them the authority to do that business. And I can make it as specific or as general as I want. You see? So then they can sell the truck and go off to Vegas. No. What you would get for that truck, you couldn't even go in the front door in Vegas. But the point is, when Krishna sends a representative, or when Krishna comes himself, he indicates in the scriptures, because the scriptures come from Krishna, he indicates who his incarnations are. You know, just like I would give a power of attorney, he gives in the Vedas the mention that, okay, this person is my expansion, this person is my incarnation. And we have different classes of incarnation of Krishna, and these are all given in the scriptures too. So we don't have to speculate, we don't have to guess, we don't have to use our imagination. And certainly we don't ever want to make a false claim to be an incarnation of Krishna if we're not. Just like the biggest problem early on in Srila Prabhupada's movement was a group of 4 sannyasis who wanted to claim that Krishna had incarnated as Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, of course, put a stop to that very quickly. You know, it's not a good thing to speculate or guess about who is the incarnation of the Lord. We have to take it from the scriptures. Then you know, everything will be very clear, and we won't have this particular anartha of being an illusion about who is the Supreme Absolute Truth. The next anartha, class of anarthas, among the Svarupa Brahma, is called Sadhya Sadhana Tattva Brahma. Illusion about sadhana bhakti, the means of spiritual perfection, and sadhya, the object to be obtained by such sadhana, or in other words, prema bhakti. Now this is a very common anartha. It's very common because, as we have discussed many times, most devotees do not have an adequate, clear, or perfect or complete understanding of the process of sadhana bhakti itself. That's why we're presenting this whole series. That's exactly why we're presenting it. Because most devotees have not studied the nectar of devotion carefully, have not understood the different steps in the process of sadhana bhakti, have not understood the offenses, and as a result they're not so careful about committing them. leading to fall down and so on like that. And of course, they really don't understand these anarthas. Therefore, they have not been able to get beyond the stage of anartha nivritti. See, this is an epidemic among devotees. That because of misunderstanding the process, they have not been able to get beyond a certain stage. And that stage is exactly anartha nivritti. And I would say that this anartha in particular is the greatest stumbling block on the path of most devotees' advancement. They do not understand the process. They don't understand that it's a gradual alteration of consciousness. Because they don't know what consciousness is, they don't know how consciousness works, they don't know how to change consciousness, they don't know why they should change or how they should change their consciousness. And so they misunderstand the whole process to be like an external religious